Welcome back, guys. So, before even moving ahead with features like integration of RX Swift or persistent using rel, I felt it made sense to complete some of the pending features, like having this done button feature implemented, where you'll just add a strike through the text when you're clicking, let's say, on done, so that those items are already completed or like are already in a completed state. So if you want to, let's say, set it back to an undone state, you just do that so that it gets back populated back to the table view and then sort it based on their previous state. So with this in background, let's get started. So this the feature which is required is already tried and tested. I just want to show how to implement it in using the existing code base which was done in the episode 3 version. So let's get started with the implementation of the current feature which I had shown, where we'll show it strike through whenever it is set to done. So even before we start that, what we need to do is to set a property in the view model which will represent the done feature. So for that we need a boolean set in our to do item presentable. We don't have it right now, so let's call it something like is done, which is of type bool. So if we implement it, let's add a setter as well to it, because we'll be setting the value. So is done. Let's keep a initial value of false when you're loading it, and with that being added, next step is to have it included in the feature where we will set it to do or undo. But even before that, let's do it for this init case where we are setting the values. Okay, so what we need to do here is to change the text value based on the, beg your pardon, so we should be doing it for the menu items. We have this done and so we need to also have an undone, so that text will be based on the is done property. So if it is done, we'll set it to undone. That means we need to undo the done state, and if it is not done, then set it to done. So this is the first state which will be accepted. So as of now, it'll run in the way which it was earlier. So let's move ahead and do something more. So right now, if you run the application, we won't see any changes because everything is in a false state. So is done is false. So you'll just see like earlier state, undone, click, nothing happens. So we now need to implement the done feature. So we have the on to do done in the to review model, which is where it will receive the call to make it done. So let's do the same thing. We get the index of the item based on the to do ID, which is passed when we are clicking on the done. It's received here, you get the index here. After that, let's get the item, to do item, whose state has to change. So that will be my items, and pass the index. So now I have the to do item. So all we need to do is toggle the state from done to is done. So if it is done, we set it back to not done state. Gives an error. Need to cast it. Now it's okay. So keynote properties elect. Okay, we call it where. That should solve it. Okay, so that is being done now. Still we are not there yet. What we need to do right now is to have a delegate added in the to-do view, which we know is being implemented by the view controller to receive all the calls from the view model. So let's call it in this case, let's try this update to do items feature where we receive the index and then update at that particular index. That's being created, so let's implement that. Update the to do item that will be received here. So all we need to do is to update the table view items at that particular index. So we'll call reload rows, and then let's create an index path for that. It's similar to what we have already done previously. Section, passing the section 0 by default. That will do, and pass automatic row animation. So that's done now. So on update to do item, this will reload the particular tables view cell. So let's go back to the table view cell where we need to add the conditions. So let's say if the view model item is done, that's where we need to add that table view. That's the attribute. So instead of having the text set, we will set the attributed text instead, because we need to add that underlined text. So for that, let's create an attributed text. So that's my attributed string where I'll pass this value. So that will in turn receive my attributed string. Let's keep it outside because all I need to do is to add the attributed string styles based on whether it is done or not. So if it is done, what we are going to do is attributed string key, and we will add a strikethrough color of value UI color. Let me use light gray, and let's define a range. Yes, range, but here where it says location, so it should be make range instead of range. So we have the attributed string dot length. So let's pass that here. So we have the strikethrough color set now. Let's add a attribute for strikethrough style. Let's just keep a stroke of 1 in the same range for the whole range of the content. And then attributed string, I need a background color change foreground color of the text to be the same light gray, the same range. What are we trying to do here? It's like if the cell identify that it needs, if it is done, then we set all these attributed style to that particular text and then set the attributed text. So basically whenever we set this done, we will see that style which I had shown when introducing this episode. So let's try running this and see whether it's working now. Before that, we also need to see whether we are making the call from the view model. No, not yet. So we have to do a view call called update for the index. So basically this should trigger the update call, and in the view controller it will be received on update to do item. It will reload the cell, and in that cell in turn will set that particular attributed text with that style defined. So let's run and see what's going on. Nothing yet. So we have the initial without setting these because it's already not done yet, so it's not setting these styles, but let's try. And you can see that change here. So it's calling that, setting that attributed text and Strikethrough is added to those text. So you don't see this undone being made here, but even before that, let's say, yeah, so this text is now changing, which we need to handle now. So what's going on right now is it's setting it back. So I need to have that undone also defined here. So let's do that here. So all I need to do is, where is it getting set? Go back to that view model. So I need to identify my menu item for which I need to set it. So let me write a filter for that. Filter will make sense. Okay, so that's my to do menu item, and then I need to see whether it is the done menu item. So let's call me done menu item and get the first item. So all I'm doing is trying to see whether it's the item within this menu item is done menu item. So if it is that done menu item, then I'll change its title based on the TODO item state. If it is done, I'll call undone. If not, we call it as done. So this should do the trick which we are looking at. Do I have everything? It cannot be assigned to a title. Title is get. So let's go back to the title. So done menu item. Jump to definition. Go to the title menu. Okay, so let's get to set also, so that we can get rid of that. And again, it's asking for sorry. So it is for to do item cannot send to a done is a let constant. Done menu item is a let menu. Okay, so that's fine. And we need to cast it. So I think we are all good now. Let's try running it. So right now it's done. Click on it. It should show me undone. That's fine. So now that data binding from the view model to the cell is happening. Still, I need some more things to be done. Something like if I, let's say, do a done, I need to push it to the bottom so that I only see whatever needs to be done at the top. Let's do that. For that, what we need to do is to add a sort. So I have the items collection. I need to add a sort on it. Let's call it sort by. Let me call sorted by, sort by. I have this, and that will be, I need to sort it based on the, what I'm trying to do is done. So to return is done is my first sort. Okay, let's call it as sorted, just easier. Still it's complaining. Let's see. And $1 is done. So what I'm trying to do here is sort all the items which are not done first. Let's call that correctly. And then sort all the things which are done. So my sort is, which is the best one? Let's sort it as sort. Oh, this seems to be okay. Let's try to see what we did right now. I'm trying to sort all the undone things first, and then the done things. Let's see what will happen with this. Oh, it's okay. Something is not right because it's sorting, but we cannot use this update to do item. Instead, let's create a reload feature which will work. Reload items, where we are just reloading everything whenever a change is happening. Let's call reload here. Same thing, but just the difference being instead of reload rows, we'll call reload data. So let's go back to our view model. So after sort, instead of update, we will call reload items. Let's see what happens now. So I set this to done, it moves to the bottom, that's fine. I set the next time to done, it's moving to the bottom, that's okay. And when I set it to undone, it's coming towards the top, but it's not taking the first place where it used to be. That means it's not getting sorted based on these IDs. So let's also do that. So for that, we need to conditionally handle it here. Something like if the first item is done and second item is also done. Then I return a sort here based on the ID. I need to be ascending. So if it's both are done, I will sort it based on their IDs. Let's see what's going on now. Done. It's going at the bottom. Done. It's fine. It's sorting properly. Let's do one more thing. Let's make it undone. It came to the second position, which is not right. So we still have some more work. Let's see whether if it's not done, even then we need this condition to be matched. Then to the bottom, it's also fine. That looks to be working now. So things looks to be fine. It's all sorting correctly. Looks fine now. Let me just comment this out and see whether it's breaking the bottom side. It's done. I'll check what it's undone. That's fine. Done. This is undone. This ordering is gone. Here the ordering has gone wrong, but it'll order now perfectly. It's done and done. It's clear. Undone. It's all good. Let me delete. Okay, delete is anyway done. All good. Let's add an item and see. That's gone fine. That's fine. So basically, whatever we try to do, the sorting feature is working fine. So we're almost there now. So whatever we tried here is to include this feature where I can have a done and undone also. So this will help us in completing the feature along with all the implementations in place. And when we will move to RxSwift and Realm, this will clearly make more sense. So until then, see ya.